Hello, everyone, and welcome to a slightly earlier Friday night pint live here with lots to talk about in the world of West Ham. West Ham are sort of clashing with the Athletics Commission and all that over the use of the stadium for the finals of the World Athletics Championships. We're going to talk about all of that. We've even had a gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist, take shots at West Ham. So we'll talk about that. Somerville is reported and rumored to be returning in time for the Leeds game. Great news. We're going to get into that and all the other things that are going on before England play tonight. Lads, busy week it's been for us, but it's good to see you both.
Yeah, it could have been a really busy week, mate. Obviously, the Clyde Best documentary on Wednesday night, we was at the premiere, and then last night we hosted a night with Sir Trevor Brooking at the Brewdog. So, yeah, it's been a busy couple of days, but yeah, a couple of days that I'll never forget. You know, seeing proper legends and of the club, and obviously the Clyde Best story, brilliant. You know, I'd recommend anyone to go and see it. I think after this has been in the cinema, I really think that they should take this round and show this in schools and things like that, just to educate the future generations and of future footballers. And yeah, so it's been brilliant. And Sir Trevor Brooking last night was unreal. You know, brilliant. So yeah, had a really good couple of days.
Great couple of days. Like you said, well, it is mentioned in that documentary. If you want to see it in London tonight, it's on tonight, and tomorrow will be your last chance to go see it in theatre in London at Sadler as well. So check out Clyde Best story. Go get your tickets and meet some West Ham legends. Get your picture taken and all of that stuff. Go down there. Ryan said he went, and brilliant. Yeah, great film.
Yeah, fantastic.
So yeah, like I said, the weird, wacky world of West Ham and us not owning our stadium. There's often some clashes now. The Athletics are bidding to host the finals for the World Athletics Championship, which takes place in September, I believe. And West Ham, in my opinion, quite rightly, are saying, no, we're not vacating the stadium that we pay rent for millions of pounds a year for 3 weeks in September after the season starts, which hasn't gone down with Seb Coe, who's the clown that made sure that this stadium would not be fit for football. And he's throwing his dummy out. And I'll just read this quote, right? This Olympic, Olympic gold medalist for athletics. Her name is Keely Hodgkinson. She's basically said that the team GB will win more medals in the London Stadium than West Ham have in their history. Shots fired. So they're not taking it well.
Now, the thing is, like, when you look at the deal that West Ham signed when we got this stadium, Premier League games take priorities over anything, and that was part of the deal. You know, I don't understand why, since the Olympics finished in 2012, why they haven't built another smaller athletic stadium somewhere else. Because, you know, we, as you say, we pay our rent. That's the deal we signed. You know, I don't really understand it. And for her to fire shots at us, in a way, she's probably right. But
technically, though, she's not in a way, because if you count just the Conference League, right? How many medals did we get? We got at least 11 medals.
Everyone got medals, so that's 50 medals that we got for the Conference League. But
50 medals,
look,
and then you go that every.
I don't. Obviously, they want to go there and do it because of the Olympic legacy and everything that happened in 2012. But they should really move on now and let us have that stadium. It's a football stadium. Well, it's not a football stadium, but you know what I mean. It's a Premier League stadium. We play games there. We can't sacrifice like what we done before when we first moved in there, when we had to play, 3 or 4 away games at the start of the season, you know, just because they had the summer games there or whatever it was, you know. So yeah, it's just another story to chuck at West Ham, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a mess. It's a complete mess. Like, no thought went into building it. No thought went into the legacy of it. No thought went into what happens like when they make these deals. And yeah, it's just a huge embarrassment. And like, you even see that the candidate, the Conservative candidate earlier, saying about how we can't afford to let West Ham go down. It's just an embarrassment. Like, the government's embarrassed itself. At this point, they should just like say to us, look, take it on. We're losing too much money, and we'll invest somewhere else. Because it's just, it's becoming more and more complex, and it's becoming more and more spiteful every single year. Like every year, it becomes more and more like they're trying to do something to, to drive a stake in our hearts every year. It's getting worse and worse and worse, and it's just becoming ridiculous now.
Yeah. So the thing is, this is one time where I will side with the club, and the fact if they stick to their guns. I said to you, Nick, we spoke about this on the phone, and I said if I'm them, I'm saying all right, we'll do it, but chuck us fucking 20 million or like some unreasonable demand that they won't get, because why should we the thing I can't.
I can see both sides, because obviously we've made the agreement with them, but in reality, we don't even come close to paying for the stadium. So there is no, I don't know, there's no fucking benefit to having us there. So they're just they've just shot themselves in the foot. It's just becoming ridiculous, to be asking the same questions, and there's nothing in place in contracts or agreements. At the end of the day, they need the stadium to continue, and they need it they need it to be financially viable. But athletics ain't going to do it. They've got to be realistic in terms of the people that are going to get there and how much it's going to cost to convert it, for these short games. But in reality, we don't even come close to paying the rent. It's a mess, and they're going to do whatever they can to stop themselves from being embarrassed. And that, every time they come to West Ham have to fucking go to court. It's just a joke.
Hardly anyone cares about athletics in the grand scheme of things. As I said, they're not going to sell out 60,000. They're not going to get massive ratings. It's just the reality of it. The only time people care about athletics is at the Olympics. Maybe the Commonwealth Games. Other than that, I don't see people clamoring to go watch fucking athletics. It's not a big earner. It's not a big draw. So. Yeah, go like Ryan said. Do up Crystal Palace, sort that out, and go there, or go Birmingham, or something like that. The stadium's too big for athletics.
Terence McMillan Stadium still going? Can't they go over there? Is that still about?
What's that?
Yeah. They're probably
Terence McMillan Stadium in Newham, ain't that still about?
Oh, yeah.
They used to do my sports days there.
That right, because that's how many people go to the athletics. They're talking about 60, 70,000 seater stadiums housing about 1,000 people.
Embarrassing.
You look at every other city that's hosted the Olympics in the old. They build the Olympic Stadium and it goes derelict because they're never going to be able to sustain it. This city has just made an absolute mess of it. No thought went into it. They rushed into it. Made agreements that they shouldn't have made, and thought they could sustain it and undervalued it, and absolutely made a balls up of it. And it's every year it's just becoming more and more.
What would they be doing with it? Without West Ham, right? In the
originally they was meant to build it, and then after the Olympics, it was going to be knocked down. Then obviously they said that. Hey,
sorry, I was lagging there. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah. So and then they said that they was going to keep it for the likes of athletics and that, and then obviously West Ham got involved, and then decided that they want to move there and play football there. So. Yeah, as Nicky said, it's just been a mess from day one. It's just, as I said, it's just another thing that embarrasses not only the club, but as Nicky says, the government, and it's just a whole shambles. It's just a mess, and it's just it's a complete joke.
Yeah, that's it. So listen, hopefully the club don't fold, because who knows, that pressure of them realizing the situation they're in will just, bring it to a head. And like I said, maybe they do end up giving it to us or selling it to us at a discount, because what's the point? But like I said, they should be thanking their lucky stars that them clowns took us into that shithole, because like I said, when it's winter, you're not hosting any concerts there, you're not hosting any other types of events like that, any athletics. What would they really do with it?
I mean, we've spoke about the stadium so much since we moved there, but what they should have done in the beginning is, if West Ham were ever interested, as soon as the plans come out for the Olympic Stadium, they should have had meetings to say, right, let's build it. There's purpose for football, just like what they did in the Commonwealth Games with Manchester City's ground. It was built for football, and as soon as that was over, Man City moved in. It's a football stadium. We just tried to do everything on the cheap. Yeah, we'll rent it. Yeah, we'll turn it into West Ham's new home ground, but it's far from a football stadium. And I know when you look at some European clubs, they've got Olympic tracks around, like running tracks around the ground, and they are further away. But I'll be honest, I don't care about them. I don't support them clubs. I want to go and watch football in my stadium and feel part of the fucking atmosphere and part of the, like, near the team, like it was at Upton Park. But yeah, this is what they should have done. They should have met and had all these discussions long before. But as it is, it's Sullivan, Brady, and Gold at the time. Boris Johnson involved. It's like, fucking hell. You knew it was all going to go tits up when them four are in the room together.
Yeah, and you're spot on. Like when you talk about the other clubs, like because we was in the Olympic Stadium in Rome. I remember that, and we was on the pitch like and around there during the game. I just remember looking and going, "Fucking hell, these fans are far away." And they do the European thing where they have flares and drums and all that stuff. It's not English football, but yeah, I know what I want for my club, and you guys know what you want for our club, and it's not that. It's not that, you know. Shout out to Matt Rainey, 199 super chat. It says Athletics makes 54 million a year. Compare that to the Prem. Yeah, it's not even a fucking drop in an ocean, is it? Compared to what the Prem makes.
Yeah, but yeah, hopefully, mate, they get this, they get it sorted out, and then the Athletics can happen somewhere else, and hopefully we'll be playing Premier League games there and not Championship games.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, like, that for us to agree to that, we'd have to then go and sort the fixtures out and then play like 3 or more away games in that period, right? Which could affect our season. And I know, like, you know, under Potter and that and Lopetegui, our home form was absolutely shocking. But since Nuno's come in, it's actually improved quite a bit. And that could affect our season.
Yeah, I can understand, mate, if they turn around and said, look, we'll have it for 3 weeks, but we're going to do it during the international break. And then, like, but because I'm sure next season, international breaks are a lot longer because they're going to merge the two international breaks. You know, like when we have an international break in September or October and November.
Sorry, that had to, what is that? Sorry, that caught my eye.
They're going to merge the two international breaks together, so we have like a longer break, but England play more games, so they don't have, you know, like when we come back for 4 weeks, then 4 weeks after we have another international break. They're going to do it all together. So if they would have said, right, we'll do it in that period when there's no football, it makes sense. But to do it during the Premier League season when West Ham are playing, it just don't make sense. Where's Nicky gone? He's going to get his hair cut.
He's going to get his syrup. That is, I mean, the internet is something else. Honestly, I was like, it's
sort of caught me off guard. That.
Yeah, same. Shout out to Matt again on our super chat. Brady's vids are different to what we got in real life. Yeah, I mean, she talked a load of bollocks. Like, she was supposed to be at that premiere, Clyde Best. She didn't show up. I'd just say, didn't see her there. Her name was on the list. Everyone's saying justice for Nicky. I have not silenced Nicky's. He's dropped himself out. Hopefully, he should be back soon. But no, I haven't removed him. So like I said, we'll keep up to date on that story. But yeah, on some good news is it's been reported that Somerville could be back for the Leeds game, right? Which is a huge boost to Debo as well, Somerville and to Debo, which is great. The question is, I mean, do you chuck him straight in? Do you put him on the bench? Like, I mean, look, they'll know if he's 100%, but the worry is that he gets injured, he comes back. If you rush him back, maybe ease him in.
That's the risk you don't want to take, rushing him back, because if he comes back too soon and he picks up an injury and then he's out for the rest of the season, it'll be a disaster because we need him. And like I agree with you. If he's fit enough, then just put him on the bench, and then just if we need him during that game, because I'd rather save him for the Wolves game, because I know it sounds crazy, but the Wolves game's probably a bigger game than the Leeds game. And it's crazy to say because it's an FA Cup quarter-final and I want to win the FA Cup this season, and I think we can. But I think there's good enough players to come in that game. But yeah, if Somerville, it depends. Like he's had a bit of a break now. It depends how bad the injury was. But yeah, it'd be massive to see him back and to Debo as well, especially with this running coming up towards the end of the season.
Yeah, no, 100%, mate. Like I said, it's a tricky one. Like with his game, how he plays, where he is so reliant on pace. Like it's things like this and muscle injuries can really impact how he plays. So
yeah, sometimes muscle injuries are the worst injuries because they just take so long to heal. Like obviously it depends how deep it is and how much of an injury it was. But look, as I said, mate, it'd be a massive boost to have Somerville back and just to have him back for this last period of the season, because that Wolves game, I know we've got Leeds first in the cup, but that Wolves game on the Friday night under the lights, if we win that, it puts Spurs in the bottom three and it puts the pressure on them that weekend because they don't play to the Sunday. And I think they've got Sunderland away, if I'm right.
Yeah,
saying that. Right. So yeah, it's going to be a massive, big game on that. Every game's big. Every
game's. But I think there's something about that game, the fact that it is a chance for us to get out of the bottom three before they play. It is a game that you look at with the running that we've got is probably the most winnable. And if we don't win that, then it don't bode well for the rest of the games, like in the game. So yeah, it's huge. And shout out to Matt's son Jet. It's his first game. I hope he's a good luck charm. I really do. So let's hope they get the 3 points for Jet.
Yeah, love that. I hope he enjoys it, Matt, and I hope he gets the 3 points and sees a win. And I'm sure if we score, that noise of that crowd's going to probably scare him a bit, but I remember when I first went West Ham and Tony Cottee put us 1-0 up, and there was only 25,000 people in that stadium that night, and even that shocked me being a kid. So yeah, no, I love it when people say about their kids' first games. Special moment in a parent's life.
Yeah, it could be a real special night for sure. So Matt here says, you reckon the filth change managers from Tudor? Now, this was, I think, earlier in the week or the day after the Spurs game. We talked about it. It was being reported that they'd part ways by mutual consent for Tudor and Spurs, right? And since then, it hasn't happened. They've been linked with De Zerbi, who apparently doesn't want to join until the end of the until they see he sees where Spurs are in the if they're in the Prem. And then now they've been linked with Sean Dyche. But as it stands, nearly a week later, Tudor is still Spurs manager.
I think they've also been linked with Robbie Keane, but he's doing well at the club he's at the moment. Chris Hughton as well, someone that obviously knows the club, played for the club. I mean, look, Igor Tudor, he's obviously had a terrible, terrible time since he's been at Spurs, but obviously he lost his dad after the Forest game last week, so you don't know what effect that's going to have on him. Look, personally, I hope he stays because they look. The worry we've got is that a new manager comes in, especially someone who knows the club. Because when I was at the thing last week and with Abby, she was talking about Ledley King coming in. We had the same thing. Funny enough, we was obviously with Trevor Brooking last night, but you remember back in 2003 when there was 3 games to go and the senior players wanted someone to come in who was a legend in the club, who knew the club, and we brought in Brooking and we got 7 out of 9 points in the last 3 games. So sometimes someone just coming in that change room that knows the club can change the fortunes. But I hope he stays because they're absolutely terrible. And if any team's going to go down out of the 3 that look likely to be in this battle, us, Forest and Tottenham, they're the worst out of the 3 of us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. Dave says his dad died. Really bad PR if they sack him this week. Expect they'll sack him next week. It's still, I don't think that makes too much of a difference. A week of going, right, we'll give you a week. We won't sack. We'll sack him next week. Right, you're set. Like it's still going to be raw for him. But obviously, it seems to be the mutual consent talk about him leaving by mutual consent isn't true. because if he was wanted to leave by mutual consent to grieve his father and all that, he would have done it by now.
Didn't we
It
do
does
something
seem like
similar?
if they want him gone, they're going to have to sack him at this
Didn't
rate.
we do something similar with Lopetegui? Then his dad passed away, and then we sacked him a couple of weeks later. They was going to sack him, but they felt it was the wrong time. And then I think it was a few weeks later we got rid of him.
Was it a few weeks later?
It might have been a little bit longer, but I remember at the time that they was looking to sack him, and then his dad passed away, and I think the club thought it's the wrong time. But yeah, I hope he continues because I think he's a great manager for Spurs, and I think it'll be a shame if they sacked him. To be honest, I think he can do a lot for them. So yeah, long live Igor Tudor.
The thing is, I think, it's more than the manager. I do think, like you said, I don't want him to change because there's always a chance, right? There's always a glimmer of hope that if they change, they do hit a bit of luck and the guy just comes in and galvanizes the team, right? However, I just don't see this team turning around and going on that mega run. I don't think these players are really up for the fight week in, week out, and their record at the moment is horrendous. It's going to take a lot for a team that's won, 2 home games in nearly a year. 2 home games in the league in nearly a year.
I think they've only got 2 home games left this season, didn't they? So they've got 2 at home and the rest are away. So it would have probably been better for us if they had all 7 games at home. That would have done us a big favour. But I think with the running, look, we've got a tough run in as well, and so have Forest and so have Leeds. So yeah, it's going to go right down to the wire. I think it could come down to that Leeds game at home, last game of the season, which will be fucking hell nervous as anything. But hopefully we're out of it by then. We can get to that last game. As I said, if we can get to that last game being 4 points clear of that bottom 3, I'm happy with that. I'll take that now and then just dust this season off. And it could end with a high. We could, who knows, in May we could be lifting the FA Cup. And I don't like that the FA Cup finals the week before the final game of the season. I think that's a joke. That should be after, I don't, because you imagine if, imagine if us or Leeds did get to the final, and then the week later you might have a relegation battle. But yeah,
it's mental, absolutely mental. Shout out to Irons TV 499 super chat says if Nuno plays the way he did against Villa, at Villa against Leeds and Wolves, I want him gone. I don't want to see that performance against those teams at all. I don't think we will, and I think Somerville, particularly against Wolves, will change that, will make the difference. If we can have that fully fit squad, I think that will make a difference. But I don't want to see that performance.
Let's just hope that Villa performance was a one-off, because we have been playing well lately. Even games we've lost, even like when we lost to Chelsea, we should have won that game. We were a better team for 65 minutes. But yeah, Villa was a poor performance. And if we turn up like that against Wolves, we'll lose. Simple as that. Because Wolves at the moment, they've found a bit of form, as teams usually do when they've been relegated. Or I know they haven't been relegated yet, but technically they have.
Yeah, they're pretty much down. But like you said, it's not an easy game. I'm worried about that game. Like that's one where the pressure is really on. The pressure's not on Wolves right now. Like they know they're down. The pressure is all on us in that game. It's all on us.
No, you're right. And they'll come there and they'll want to beat us. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a tough game. But yeah, looking forward to it. Whoa. Went across the screen like
jumping up his back.
Hello.
You all right?
It looks like he's doing a very difficult crossword.
Look at his face.
He don't know what 5 down is.
I can't hear nothing.
I'll tell you what 3 down is. Wolves, Burnley and Spurs. Wahey! Have that one.
He can't hear nothing. Nicky's technical difficulties.
Like it's lagging.
We might have to put him on extra time with George and Big Dave and that with all the technical. He'd be right home with the technical difficulties they have. Reggae. He's smart.
We'll have to promote one of them. to the first team, and then
whoever's got the best
under 23s.
Yeah, whoever has the least technical issues on extra time will replace Nicky, and he'll get relegated to that show.
A lot of people are asking why we started early tonight. We started early tonight because obviously England play tonight, 7:45. So
England, everyone.
I watch the game, get ready for the World Cup, see what the players are like. I know this. I think it's the experimental side tonight, in it. So I'd like to. Don't know what the starting lineup is yet, but I think he's going to mix it up a bit. Yeah, it'd be good, mate. But yeah. Oh, hang on 2 seconds, mate.
No worries. Yes, well, I guess at least they're both on camera still. At least we got the visuals of Ryan and Nicky. It feels like they're both here in spirit. I'm not by myself. Nicky's facial expressions are brilliant. They're priceless.
I need to run a proper internet out here. This ain't working.
Can you not hear me? Or can you hear me?
I can catch like bits and pieces. It's like, yeah, it's lagging a little bit. So
we can hear you well. So why don't you talk about Somerville coming back and the importance of that Wolves game?
Well, it looks like he's going to be back for the Leeds game. I've heard like loads of people say like, don't risk him for the Leeds game. And listen, going into that quarterfinal with a chance to get to Wembley, I'd say, play your best team, because at the end of the day, we need him to get back up to speed. We haven't got time for him to sort of like settle back in or come back in slowly. We have to get him back on the pitch and playing as best as he can, because we need him. He's important. It's shown over the last couple of games that when he's not around, we miss him.
Would you start him on the bench against Leeds, or just chuck him straight back in?
It depends. It depends on his fitness. So if he's like, just on the brink of like coming back or, that sort of thing, and he's not quite, 100% ready, I would start him on the bench and see what we can do. We can like bring him on later on in the game to make a difference. But if he's ready and they're confident that he's ready, I'll just chuck him straight in. Because I think we all know that winning breeds confidence, right? And we've got this opportunity versus Leeds. It's probably the best opportunity that we've had in 20 years of like getting to Wembley or getting, to the point of like getting to the last for the cup. So listen, I think that would give the place a massive boost, and it would give the players a massive boost, and it would give the players something to aim for. So like, we've got to play our best team. Like anyone suggesting that we, it's more important that we, wait to the Premier League and use it, bullshit. I think like, every game's important, including the cup, because it can take your mind off it. So yeah, I would just bring him straight in, if I'm honest, if he's ready. But if he's like one of them ones, I would,
What the fuck is that? You see that, Nick?
If you ever wanted to know what Ryan looked like bald,
mate, that's taking me back to when I was like 16. Fucking hell. I used to shave my hair all the time. There was one with you, Nick, but Nicky with hair.
Yeah, where's that one?
Syrup on.
Yeah, Nicky, but with hair. We need that account back. That was
whoever's doing them accounts, now do Dan with a Mohican.
Do Dan with a moustache.
Yeah, I don't know where that Nicky.
Or Dan with tits.
Fucking hell, that's a bit fucking.
Do you remember that that geezer that used to draw all the footballers with tits?
Yeah,
vaguely.
Here
we go. Look.
I'll tell you what, I might go to Turkey. I like that.
He looks like he's like an 80s pop singer or so. He looks like he's fucking Rick Astley's let himself go.
If you got Twitter, send it to the Twitter, because it's like, yeah, I'm just about to see it, but
whip back. But the thing is, the thing with Somerville is he draws a lot of fouls. He gets fouled a lot, right? And he gets kicked. So there is a worry over 90 minutes, just coming back in after that sort of injury, bombing it down the wings, that will be a lot for him to deal with. So maybe you have him on the bench and see what we can do without him. They're struggling to score goals. Their defense is decent, but they're struggling to score goals. Our defense has really picked up. So I don't think it's a situation necessarily where he's got to be in there from minute one. I think we could hold on and try and score with see what Bowen can do and Tatty and all of that, and then bring him on as that fresh, that pair of legs, that pacers run at him,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, mate. Totally agree.
Where did I get this shirt? E13 events, Ian. Do check him out.
If you leave a comment on this video, I think there's a phone number you can get it from.
Yeah. So if
you,
you go to any of their events, he will be selling them there if they're not sold
out. I think he posted it on our Instagram post. So if you've got Instagram, look at the post we put out today from the Brooking night. Look in the comments, and I think Ian replied to someone on there with how to get in contact with them. But yeah, get them fast. They're selling out, and there's only a limited amount now left.
Yeah, and that's it. Once he sells all these out, then the away white version, the away shirt from this era will be coming hopefully. So find E13 events on socials and get in touch with him, and you can find it there. 100%. So but Nick, like, what are your thoughts on, we were talking about Tudor still being in the job. There's rumors about Sean Dyche now because Derby don't want to take over a relegation battle. Are you concerned at all about possibly Tudor going and being replaced and how that could affect us?
Not really. I just think we need to just carry on doing what we're doing and, win games. At the end of the day, it's down to Tottenham. At the end of it's not in our hands. So all we can do is win games. Whether they've got a new manager, old manager, everyone keeps on saying that, they're going to get wins. They're going to start picking up form. They've got players coming. And every time I've heard that, like when they changed their manager before, it didn't work. I just don't think they got the fight for it. So, just do what we're doing and make sure you're playing well and make sure you're, picking up points, because at the end of the day, it's not in our hands. As much as it pains me to say, it's not in our hands. We've just got to hope that they don't pull it together and we can pick up enough wins, because we were so far behind. To get to this position is like fantastic, but at the end of the day, it's their problem, not ours. Like, there's nothing we can do. Whatever happens over there happens. We just got to keep on doing what we're doing and hope that somebody, don't do it well.
Just got the England team come through, so I'll read it out for you. So Trafford in goal, Livramento, Tomori, Maguire and Spence at the back, Garner, Henderson, Madueke, Foden, Rashford and Solanke. So no Bowen, which tells me that's a good sign. Because for me, I think Tuchel, I've always said it, he rates Bowen a lot. And for him not to be in this experimental team tonight, I think that proves that he might be on that plane he might be in the final squad.
These are the rejects.
Yeah, these are the people that are obviously have been out, some of them injured, and they're going to obviously got a chance to show what they can do to for Tuchel. But yeah, I think that shows a lot that Bowen not starting tonight. I think that means he's going to have a good chance of being in that final squad.
Yeah, so he's not really looking at him.
I think he knows what he gets from Bowen. Bowen might come on tonight in the second half, but then obviously we've got a game in a couple of days as well. And I think that the next game we play, I think the starting lineup in that game will be most likely what he's going to start with in the World Cup for the opening game. So, yeah, that's good. I like watching these sort of games because you experiment and just see they're nothing games. None of the players want to get injured. So yeah,
I think there's obviously places up for grabs because there's so many players this year that's been like a bit below par, like Cole Palmer, Saka. So like everyone.
What do you make? Obviously, he's named the 35-man squad, and Trent's not in it. What do you make on that? Because Trent's one of the best. Right, I know he hasn't had a great time at Real Madrid, but you can't for Ben White to get in over Trent there's something's gone on there. I think between Trent and
Tuchel. Outrageous.
How can he not pick him?
I don't know. The thing is, like, sometimes managers just don't fancy players. Some people can say this player brings this player. But if the manager don't fancy him and he doesn't, offer the same things that he wants in it, like he obviously wants to go like a certain way, and he doesn't see what other people see in Trent, I suppose. But I don't know.
what
Yeah,
he's seen
like
in Ben
you say
White.
about that Ben White thing. Ben White obviously, quit England about 3 years ago, and he hasn't been seen since. And all of a sudden, like he's above Trent. So yeah, there must be some sort of like question of his attitude, or some sort of falling out. It is weird though, because like obviously he's been one of the sort of mainstays and been considered one of the better players or better right backs in the world of late, and all of a sudden he's just like to find himself to be replaced by Ben White, who hasn't played for England in 3 or 4 years, and people like Lewis Skelly getting in, who hasn't even played football for Arsenal, nor has White. It is a bit strange. There must have been a falling out there somewhere.
Do you think if Wan-Bissaka didn't declare for Congo recently, he could have got in there?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think it would. I think he knows what he wants to, Sean.
Well, he better bloody...
The thing is, he keeps on
do well.
People like Henderson. Henderson was basically done with England, and he's been in every fucking squad since. So, obviously they see something, they see some benefit, and maybe like he looks at Trent and he looks at his attitude, or he looks at the way some supporters have taken him, or some of the players are around him, and he thinks, no, I don't want that around. I don't know. It's
yeah. Well, so Trent's been fined by, I think he means lateness. Shout out to Steve. I think he's saying Trent's been fined twice by Real Madrid for lateness. I think he's saying.
Yeah, maybe it is an attitude thing, and maybe that's why Tuchel hasn't picked him. But I just think with like defensively, we know Trent's not the best, but going forward, he's passing and he's assists and he's crossing. He's especially when he's at Liverpool. Obviously, I don't see much of him now because I don't really watch Spanish football, so I don't really know how he's been getting on there.
Yeah, I think he struggled a little bit to sort of cement down a place. I don't think he's playing as regularly as he was.
Yeah, in when he looks back in his career, I mean, I know players like it's tough to turn down clubs like Real Madrid, but maybe when he looks back in his career, he probably wish he might have stayed at Liverpool, where he was adored and loved, one of their own. But
they're two very different players. Like Trent he's known for being good attacking wise, but lacking defensively, whereas Ben White is more defensive as a right back. So
see, I've never felt like as much as other people have felt about Trent. I've always thought like he's a good player and he's got world-class abilities, but he's never world-class. He ain't a world-class right back. He's a decent right back, but he's got like brilliant abilities to get up and down, but he's not good enough for the midfield, but he's got all the ability to play midfield. Like he's got world-class ability, but he's not world-class in any position.
I actually thought he was a lot better when Klopp played him in midfield. When he played him in central midfield at one point, I thought he looked a lot better.
Didn't Southgate start doing that as well?
Yeah, I think he's got the abilities, as you say, but yeah, it's just defensively, he's not as good. But like Ben White, I mean, I don't get the hype with Ben White. I've always thought he was sort of overrated. I don't think he's as good as what people think he is. As you said, he turned his back on his country. There's people that'll give anything to represent their country once. He turned his back on them. So for me, he should never be in an England squad again. That should be his punishment. Never play for England again. So and Harry's been given that chance. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I do agree.
Yeah. No, spot on there. Sean's asking about what do we think about the goalie situation. I guess he's saying in terms of who should be our goalie. Obviously, we've got the Leeds game and then the Wolves game not long after. So do we stick with Areola in the Cup, Hermansen in the league, or is it time now to maybe go back to how it was?
It'll be interesting to see who starts that game, because whoever starts, the other one will start in the league. So if Hermansen's in goal for Leeds, that will tell you a lot. But I think it will be Areola. I think he's just going to stick with Hermansen now for the rest of the season in Premier League. I'm a fan of Areola. I like Areola. But Hermansen, I don't think, apart from the Villa game, he hasn't made many mistakes since he's come back into the team. He's kept a couple of clean sheets. Obviously, comparing the two, I think Areola's the better shot stopper. Hermansen's better at his feet. So it's a shame you just can't fucking merge them both together, and we'll have to suit the goalkeeper then, won't we? But yeah, it's I like Areola, and if he got put back in goal, I won't be against it.
The thing is, they've both got different strengths and different weaknesses. And to be honest, they're both as capable as each other. I'm comfortable with any of them. Like, I don't think it really makes a difference what one you pick. You know, we're not talking about Kinski and fucking Peter Schmeichel, you know, like the gap between them. I think, as you say, like, you look at that Villa game and you look at the 2 goals he let in, you probably go, yeah, Areola would probably get to both of them. So go with him. But then he's not as good at crossing. He's not as good with his feet. So, yeah, I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other. I don't think it matters. I would stick to how it is at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, we'll see what Nuno does. He's got some big decisions, and maybe hopefully this break comes at the right time for us to recharge and, you know what I mean, just mentally have a break from that relegation battle, from that grind, you know, and then come back refreshed and just have the boys go at it fucking 100%, because that Villa performance was just so unlike what we'd seen weeks before, you know, like Man City and the Man United game, where we'd seen the players up for it and give everything. They didn't give everything against Villa. So maybe this break will just help them reset and recharge and come back and just 7 games, just 100% go for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. But, by the way, I'm all right to stay on a little bit longer. I've moved me, I'm not going till 7:45 now, so I can stay on for another 10 minutes if you want.
Lovely jubbly. Yeah, we need it because Nicky's internet, I mean, is all haywire, so he might drop out.
Probably. I'm getting like the gist of it, but
yeah. If only we had subtitles.
Well, they do. Sometimes YouTube do put them on, don't they? They make me laugh sometimes because it says something completely different to what we say on the screen. But
Nui says Areola in the cup and the league. He's not having Hermansen at all. I wonder how Hermansen will be when things get really pressured towards the end of the season. Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, he's been in this situation. I mean, Areola's been in this situation, but they've both been in relegation battles before. But more recently, Hermansen. So, yeah, it's going to be in. But yeah, I mean, like I said, Hermansen, none of us was having him like a few months ago. So he has come a long way from the keeper that we. And it's so funny that the keeper that Potter desperately wanted, you know, he couldn't get anything out of, but like Nuno has drastically improved him and got him playing how we've seen, you know.
I think it's because he's got better defenders in front of him this time. I think at the beginning of the season we was all over the shop at the back, weren't we? He was obviously had Kilman in front of him. The defense was all over the place. I think obviously Tadebo's picked up. Mavropanos has improved so much over the last few months, and obviously Disasi coming in has improved it. So goalkeepers, when they've got a back four in front of them that are playing well, it breeds confidence into them as a goalkeeper. So it was a settled back four for a little while, and I think Mavropanos, we spoke about him so much last week, and rightly so. Even though we lost the game, he was brilliant once again. So they've all got a part to play in this final run-in, and yeah, I think if Hermansen's putting goal in, look, we just got to get behind him at the end of the day. If there's no point slating the boy, you know.
Yeah. No, listen. Yeah, listen.
It's a bit
agree.
Weird that all of a sudden, like, he finds himself as our number one when, like, it seemingly, like, during January, he was so, like, desperate to swap him for like Kinski. Like, it's a bit fucking.
Yeah, I still don't get that. I still don't. I'd love to know the thought process behind that, to be where you was desperate to get rid of him for an absolutely shocking goalkeeper. And now he's the main man. What changed? That's what I'd like to know. But yeah, I think the lineup. So for Leeds, you reckon he'll go like the same team he would play in a league game for that? That's what I'll be, because we've seen him even against Brentford change it up a bit. He hasn't gone for the exact same team in every. So it'll be interesting to see if he goes for like Disasi, Mavropanos, Diouf, Wan-Bissaka, like Fernandes, that exact same team that we see, or he'll have some of those players coming in that
I think he will. I think he will start strong against Leeds. I think Nuno's. You got to have. I know you got one eye on relegation, but you got to have. He's going to have both eyes on the FA Cup because, as a manager, you want to win things, and there's a good chance this season that we could reach the final. Obviously, we know we're going to come up against a decent team. But look, we've got to get through Leeds first, and then hopefully, if we do, the semi-final draws kind to us. But yeah, I think as a manager and as players as well, the players will have their one eye on that cup as well because all players play to win trophies, win medals. When they retire, we was with Trevor Brooking last night, who lifted the cup for us twice, and we're 46 years later, we're still talking stories about it. You know what I mean? They're magical days, and it's what players want. So yeah, they'll definitely be up for that cup game, but so will Leeds. Leeds are going to have 9,000 fans there. They're going to be loud, you know, so it's going to be one hell of a game. I'm looking forward to it.
With Todibo back, do you think, or would you go to the back three, the back five that we played against Man City, or do you stick with Mavropanos and Disasi and Todibo on the bench?
No, I think we go to what we've been doing lately, which is like playing 4 and like, you know, pressing a little bit more. You know, I think the back five is.
Well, he was going to play back five against Villa, wasn't he? He was going to play that. He was going to play the back five against Villa. Obviously, he played it against City. So you say lately, he's obviously been in the intention has been starting to play this way.
I didn't get that. Sorry.
He tried to play back five against Villa.
Yeah, I just think that's because Somerville weren't available, and he thinks like, you know, that's the best chance he's got. Like, you know, sometimes I don't know what the geezer's thinking, to be quite honest with you, but it's not a game where I'd like, you know, if there's 1 or 2 changes and he leaves 1 or 2 out and he's like got a fault behind it, yeah, like, you know, back in. But if he like sort of like starts making like a really, you know, when we went to the quarterfinal against Arsenal and there was like 11 changes and they'd made 11 changes and like, you know, don't do that because I don't think that does anyone any favours. It makes, you know, the crowd are up for this one. Obviously, like the game sold out. It's gonna be noisy, and it's gonna be exciting, and like there's a good prize at the end of it. You know, you at least get a trip to Wembley. So yeah, go for it. You know, I know that there's obviously the relegation battle, but Leeds are in the same situation. So like, it's, you know, I think it should be 2 teams that should go for it, and like, don't worry about that relegation. Like, you can worry about that at the end of the week. Right? Don't worry about it. Just, you know, play the game, get the game won, and at least get like a little bit of a good vibe around the club. Because at the end of the day, you fucking need it because it's been fucking doom and gloom for, you know, so long now.
Yeah, the thing is, and I do lean towards the back 4, and as Ruddy says, like all our best performances are at a back 4. I agree. The only argument I would make for that back 5 is because they are struggling so much to score goals. You know, you shore it up and really frustrate them for a good period of time, especially if he is going to start Somerville on the bench, then there's a chance to bring off a centre back, you know, later at the later stages, and then just go for the jugular later on. That's the only argument I could think of it. You know what I mean? Just because they are really struggling to score goals.
No, I see your point. They are struggling to score goals. I don't think they've scored in the last 4 games. Does it sound like that? So they are struggling, and yeah, look, it's when is it? It's next Sunday. We play on the Sunday, don't we?
I think so. Yeah, I think it is.
Sunday, 4:00, 4:30.
Yeah, we're playing Sunday, then Friday. I don't know why they didn't put us on a Saturday, then the Friday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that game was already picked for Sky before the FA Cup was played. So, but yeah, like, look, Sunday to Friday is still a good gap, to be honest. You know, their players, they're fit now. They're probably not training as intense as they was in the beginning of the season, and sort of you get to this stage of the season now where you'll start resting players for a couple of days because they're fit anyway. So, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good cup game. And as you said,
if we stay up, would you go bald?
Probably not. I might wear a bald cap for a couple of weeks if that makes you happy. When you get to 42, mate, you got to look after your hair, and I'm scared that if I shave it off, it'll never grow back. So
Yeah.
yeah. So no, I'll wear a bald cap for you if that helps.
Yeah, Wolves massive. Anything less than a win is not good. Yeah, draw just ain't it.
I agree. It's a must win. We have to win that game. I know if you get a point, people say, "Oh yeah," but you got to win that game. We have to win these games. The teams like Wolves, Palace, we've got Everton at home. Who else we got? We've got Brentford away. You know, these are teams that we should be picking up points. Palace away. You know, the only game in there that I look at and think we're probably going to struggle is probably Arsenal at home. But by that time, the league title could be done. League title could be won by then. So if they're still in the Champions League, they might start resting a few players. So there's a chance there to take points off of Arsenal. So look, it's going to be a. I said this the other day, like it's difficult because you don't want to be in a relegation battle. But someone said to me, like, would you like be happy being mid-table? And I thought about it, and I thought, do you know what I like about every game now is exciting. Every game now is something on it.
Yeah.
And I think I know look, obviously I don't want to go down. I don't want to be in a relegation battle, but because every game now there is something riding on it, it makes it a bit more exciting watching West Ham. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, mate. I think there's gonna be lots of ups and downs, emotions over the next few weeks, but we're West Ham fans and we're used to it, and let's just get through it. And yeah.
This is probably the most excited and nervous I've ever been to watch us play Wolves in my lifetime. Like, to going into that, just the huge game that it is. Like,
we're in a position now where we can stay up, win the FA Cup, Spurs go down, and England win the World Cup in the space of 2 months.
And Arsenal bottle the league. I don't want to be greedy, but I mean that would be the perfect year. That would be the perfect year ever.
Oh, mate, but yeah. But then it could be even worse. We could get relegated. Spurs could stay up. We could get knocked out to Leeds, and England get knocked out in the group stages. So that's football. That's everything.
Football.
That's the both sides of football. We're going to go through so many emotions and everything. But yeah, I like it. As someone said there, most teams that are mid-table, their seasons are over in January. Players are already thinking about booking their holidays.
Yeah, we've been there many times. We've been there many times, haven't we? Where it's just like you're just trying to finish as high as you can, but really you can't get into Europe. You can't go down. You're out of the cups, and you know it's sort of dead. We've been there many times. Shout out to Andy with $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Andy. Full team versus Leeds. Hopefully win. Everyone buzzing. Players then playing for places at Wembley. No chance. Risk losing with the second team. So yeah, he's basically saying full team, 100% go full team against Leeds, and then just get into Wembley. And then so maybe you have got. He's right. Maybe you have got then players playing to try and get into the side for Wembley and really just up in their game.
Well, the only thing that worries me is if you remember back in 2006 when we got to the FA Cup final. Them last few weeks of the season, players were pulling out because they didn't want to get injured. And if we do get to progress to the final, obviously it's a player's dream to go to Wembley and play in an FA Cup final. And that's the only thing I don't want to. We're still in a relegation battle, so we have to. These players have to put that. If we do progress in the FA Cup, it has to go to the back of their mind when we're playing like in the Premier League over the next few weeks, because you don't want players to go missing. You don't want players to start pulling out of tackles and faking injuries because they don't want to play. That's the last thing we want.
That's a good point. That is something to be worried about for sure. Speaking of this shirt, by the way, people are asking about it. I've also got another one of these shirts that we are going to be giving away, but this is a little bit more special than the one I'm wearing. This one has been signed by none other than Trevor Brooking himself. This is a shirt Trevor Brooking wore, not the same one he wore, but the same kit with his number on the back. And like I said, the signature the man himself signed yesterday. Fresh signature. We're going to be giving this away to the members. We've done this before with the Julian Dix signed shirt, where we basically did like a raffle for the shirt. So if you do want to win it, there goes Nick again in at Shake It All About. But if you do want to win this signed Trevor Brooking shirt, this is the size don't really matter, but this is an XL, I believe. But obviously you're going to frame it. If you do want to win it, sign up to become a member. We have 3 tiers, right? So you basically, it's like having multiple raffle tickets. So if you're on the Cult Hero tier, which is the first tier, right, you get 1 entry. If you're on the, I can't remember the name of our tiers now. Was Cult Hero the second tier? We had the first tier. If you're on the second tier, right, the slightly higher tier, you get 2 entries. And if you're on the legend tier, you get 3 entries into the raffle. Father 10 style raffle. So you get multiple chances to win this if you're in the legend. But like I said, you enter your name in, then we put all the names in. If you remember last time, we'll spin the wheel, and whoever it lands on. Philip Demicoli, you did have the legends tier. He's one of our legends. He won the Julian Dix shirt. So do enter. And we've also got early access to watch the Trevor Brooking interview. So members get it early. But the exclusive Q&A will be available for the members only. So, yeah. They've got that.
Yeah,
My mum says, if I win, you can spin again. Yes, my mum, I did manage to get her own signed Trevor Brooking shirt. So yeah, like lots of reasons to be a member this week.
Yeah, definitely, and to own something like that signed by the legend himself is definitely worth entering. And it was look, I said it on my Twitter account that getting the opportunity to sit down and talk to someone like Sir Trevor Brooking and interviewing him was, I've been lucky enough to interview quite a few players over the years, but that's one I'll never forget because he is just a true legend and a gentleman as well. I mean, the stories he told, and we obviously had a replica FA Cup there, and to think you're sitting next to the man that won the FA Cup twice, scored the winning goal, played for his country in a World Cup. He's a sir. He's got a stand named after him. He's just a true legend. As I said last night, you can say the word legend a lot, but he's above that. He's an icon. He's West Ham royalty. When you think of the Mount Rushmore of West Ham, Bobby Moore, Billy Bonds, Trevor Brooking, and the fourth is always open for debate because we all grew up in different eras. But them 3 will always be the first 3 on there. And yeah, he's just he's iconic. He's such a nice bloke, and it was an honor. It was an honor.
He definitely has an aura around him. Just being around him, and it's just like
it is. You see when he walked in the room last night, and the crowd, just the reception he got, and at the end he said a little speech to what he felt about the fans, and it was an emotional night. Like he's just a legend, isn't he? Like everyone knows Trevor Brooking, whatever generation you was born in. Some people were lucky to see him play. Some people were lucky to see him lift that FA Cup. My memories of Trevor Brooking obviously are when he was a manager for us because I was born the year he retired, so I definitely didn't get to see him play. But what a man! Looking forward to watching it back.
Yeah, no, definitely. And give it a watch. Like I said, it's going to be available to the members first. Like I said, the Q&A that we had afterwards will be members only. You can find out who he would name the last unnamed stand after. That was an interesting one. Obviously, we've got Moore, we've got Brooking, we've got Bonds, and then we've got the 4th stand. So he answered a lot of questions from the audience and some really good ones as well. So that's coming up this week. Someone asked when the draw is. When the draw is, we could do it on the next. We're not playing next Friday, are we?
What about if we do it after the Leeds game?
Yeah.
So give people a week to enter. We'll do it after the Leeds game or something.
Yeah, because not everyone might see this. We're going to give people some time to sign up, and like I said, it's not just you sign up and wait for the draw. You're going to have the Trevor Brooking, the Sir Trevor content as well coming out. So, like I said, look for more of this stuff for the members, more bits and pieces like this. So yeah, I'm glad we can do that. It don't look like Nicky's coming back, so yeah, we'll wrap it up there, I guess. Once again, thank you to OK Jerseys for sponsoring the video. Check out the link below to get your 10% discount. Oh, look, bloody hell, speak of the devil, but there is Nicky 10 for £15 for get it for £13.50. So use that. England playing tonight. You can get the brand new England shirt. In fact, I'll show you that. Be away if I can find the bloody thing. I've got so many shirts. I've got shirts coming out my ears now since we've done this OK jerseys. Crazy. It's like bloody Sports Direct in here. But yeah, that's the I love the red. I love the red England kits, right? The red ones. I'm always partial to the red. And yeah, with the new ones, like, listen, they're charging like 80 quid for some of these bloody shirts or more if you want names on the back, and over 100 quid, right? The prices of shirts these days, 15 quid.
Yeah, they're good. They're good quality. So yeah, get them in before the World Cup starts, because I think they're going to sell quick. You can tell why people go to places like OK Jerseys with the prices that they're charging. As you said, mate, for shirts these days, it's ridiculous. So yeah, go on there, get yourself a shirt. The white one's nice, but I'm like you, Dan. I think the red ones are always iconic, because obviously when we won the World Cup in '66, we wore red. I think England should always have a red away kit, so it's nice to see it back.
Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. Yeah, like you should always have a red. It's weird when England play in blue. I think your kit should sort of be representative of the flag, like your colours. So it's always weird, like they play in that blue, like they're doing the Union Jack thing, even though it's England.
Yeah.
So go get that. Like I said, look out for the Brooking content coming up for the members first, and like I said, the exclusive interview, and do join the memberships to enter to win this fantastic signed Brooking shirt. So thank you all, and let's hope England not just win but put on a good performance. So nice. Well, I'm glad Nicky could make it here for the end.
I can't hear a fucking thing. It's just lagging, stopping, going dark.
Oh God!
I'm gonna have to find PT tomorrow and fucking get some sort of router in there, because obviously that's not fucking working.
Need a booster. Well, let's hope Nicky gets his internet sorted out. Have a great weekend, everyone. Try and enjoy your international week. A little bit of a break from relegation battle, but we'll be here covering West Ham and doing shows and talking about all sorts of stuff throughout. So do stay tuned to West Ham Fan TV. Thank you all so much for watching, and enjoy your weekend. Nice one, lads.
Yeah, have a good weekend, and I'll catch up with you during the week. I'm off down the pub now to watch the England game. Come on, England.
Come on, England. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. One thing left to say, come on, you Irons.